Hey everyone, this is Chris Keys for Premier Guitar. I'm hanging out at the 2025 NAMM show with my friend Lloyd at Cole Clark Guitars, coming out of Australia, long trip here.
It's not too bad. I mean, you just get on, you get off the plane. I didn't have to fly it or anything. It was all right.
One of my favorite stops doing the NAMM show, as I'm sure Perry behind the camera couldn't attest, is Cole Clark and Lloyd. Lloyd, tell me about your guys' newest creation here.
So continuing on with our hybrid series guitars, we've kind of just keep tweaking away at this idea of creating a guitar that is truly a true hybrid instrument. Hence the name True Hybrid. As you can see, we've added a few. We've gone into ebony boards, which are now sustainable for the first time in quite some time. We're big on sustainability, so it's a wonderful thing to be trying to add that flavour back into some of our guitars. A few tweaks to the instrument with, like, some familiar colours that you can have a look at. But really, what it comes down to is just continuously aiming to build a guitar that does not compromise its electric sound and does not compromise its acoustic sound. Not an acoustic that does some electric, not an electric that does some acoustic, something that does a bit of both. So what we've had to do to make that happen is our PG3 pickup system, which is our latest in a long 25-year history of creating what we think is the most natural sounding acoustic pickup in the world. That's with that 6 undersaddle assembly piezos, face sensor and the microphone that blend together like a PA system to make a much more natural acoustic tone. Then for our electric output, it's a completely separate output because you don't plug an electric guitar into a PA, and you don't plug an acoustic guitar into an electric guitar amp. What we've had to actually do is we spent 3 years developing the technology to use phosphor bronze with magnetic pickups. That really is the big leap for us. Magnetic pickups won't hear phosphor bronze properly. They'll hear the small steel strip inside, but they won't actually hear the phosphor bronze. That means you're going to have 2 very loud steel strings and wound strings that are quite quiet. But of course, if you put electric strings on a hybrid guitar, you're going to compromise your acoustic sound. So the result is the ability, a machine we've created, and it's up to patent pending, that we can actually change the magnetic power of each individual pole piece in our electric pickups so that they are completely balanced and you get exactly the same volume across the phosphor bronze strings, which means you can finally have a hybrid with phosphor bronze strings that are completely even.
And what were the magnets that you said that were using the electric pickup?
They're Alnicos, and we put them through a machine which we call the MagSim, which was created by Paul Gale. He's a wonderful electronics genius upstairs at Cole Clark. We just leave him in his den to do his magic, and he comes downstairs and shows us these incredible things. And look, that was 3 years between it's not possible to we have a patent a patent ready to be delivered, and for us and as a player, because that's what I am first and foremost, the idea is that we should only ever be limited by our imagination. So offering artists something that was previously not possible, and challenging them to create new things with it. We've just had an absolute ball watching players do this. We're also, I'm a blues player, so we got a lot of blues guys who love having that dual output thing happening. But also a lot of session guys my age getting on a little bit.
32?
32, yeah. 30, yes, that's right. In my extremely late 30s. You'd go on tour and you'd have to take a Strat and you'd have to take a Les Paul and you'd have to take an acoustic. And now you just do it with one guitar, one case, pay for one bag. It's quite a fabulous thing. So
the airlines can only smash one guitar instead of 3.
Yeah, that's right. Although the good people at Qantas have still got to get me home, so we might just they're not them, of course. The other airlines.
Can you walk us through let's start with the acoustic sound, the electric sound, and then combined?
Sure. So our PG3 pickup system, it's got 6 loaded piezo's, face sensor, and a condenser mic. Each one is only hearing frequencies they're best equipped to handle. Anything the microphone would feed back on, it doesn't know it exists, it sends it to the face sensor. Anything the face sensor would feed back on, doesn't know it exists, it sends it to the piezo's. Much like a PA system with subwoofer, speaker, and horns. So our acoustic preamp. Then we flick our switch over to our electric configuration here. So we've got our 2 singles and a humbucker here. It can also come with 3 singles. It can also come with 2 humbuckers, depending on what you like. But obviously 1, then we get our 2, our center. Now we're using this in the bridge coil position and our center. And then we've got our humbucker in series and parallel with a knob at the tone switch. So I'm a humbucker guy, so I'll show you that one first. And when you use both together, the pizza with everything, the idea is that it sounds like the world's coming to an end. And of course, what it's really great for is for loopers. I'm not a great looper by any stretch of the imagination, but I'll give it a try just to...
Now, I imagine the sound hole here that's kind of mimics a F hole or a semi-hollow look, but that's probably right. more of a sound hole for hearing yourself and the acoustics kind of version.
Absolutely, it's enough to play around at home. But of course, we have to kind of trick the magnetic pickups into thinking they're in a solid body guitar. So we use finite element analysis to build basically a unibrace down the center that sort of traps that in while still having the acoustic chambers at the side. Of course, we do have people say, oh, it wouldn't be very good acoustically. You are correct. If you want an acoustic guitar to play at home, do not buy the one with the 2 singles and the humbucker in it. You should buy another acoustic guitar, one of these ones, for example.
So, yeah, plenty to choose from behind us here.
Yeah, that's right. And look, I think it's at the point now with these, they have become our highest selling guitar and by a long way. Because people are seeing them as a necessity at a time when maybe luxury items are not as forthcoming for a lot of people. But musicians are seeing it as a new way to express themselves, a new way to create. And I guess it took us a little while to show people this is not a novelty, this is a really serious touring machine.
I know that this is like a continuation of the family that you guys have been building on, but could you briefly tell us what the woods are? You had mentioned the fretboard's a new... We've
gone back to ebony for these fretboards. It's a very different flavor. It's lovely because it just removes some of the bottom end that was probably a bit howly for me personally. It's Australian blackwood, top, back, and sides. Now, Australian blackwood for those of you who are not Australian, you would all know koa. It's one genetic sequence different to koa in its DNA, so it's probably the same tree grown over a long time in a different country. Botanists are on forums working that one out. We don't need to worry about it. We just get on with building guitars. But it's a great, solid, stiff timber that doesn't vibrate too much, so it allows us to put those electric pickups in without worrying about feeding back. And it's just been a really steady traveling guitar for people who are on the road a lot.
Now, what does this version come in at price point?
Look, I've never bought one.
I imagine not.
Look, I believe that they're around the $3,500 mark, and there is an entry-level model that comes in around the $2,200 mark. They can go all the way through to $5,000 for our 3 Series master grade type timbers.
Gotcha. And where should people go online to check out more of what you guys are doing?
ColeClarkGuitars.com. If you Google anything even remotely like that, it should come up.
Well, thank you, Lloyd. Actually, can you do me a favor and play us out of here? Because your playing is so fantastic. So this is Chris Keys and Lloyd. Take it away, Lloyd.